How's it going there, everyone? It's Mr. Zen over here with a brand new One Piece discussion. For today's segment, we're going to be talking about One Piece chapter 830, The He Who Bets On. Now, this chapter was very interesting in itself because of the fact that we now get involved with Jinbei. Yes, folks, Jinbei now has become part of the central figure in this storyline, as per se, between all the other chapters that they showcase so far. Now Jinbei will be part of the central part of the crew because of the fact that we are actually witnessing Jinbei actually trying to leave Big Mom's crew. Yes, folks, Jinbei is literally trying to become part of the Straw Hat Grant Fleet, or actually, better yet to say, part of the main crew itself. Because of the fact that in the beginning of the chapters, we get to see the fact that Jinbei is talking to his Sun Pirates, and the Sun Pirates are actually encouraging Jinbei to not hold back, not let himself be chained down to the Sun Pirates, but instead they're actually willingly letting Jinbei go and said, you know what, it's okay, go ahead and be with the Straw Hat crew since you're always talking about him, and it seems that he'll be even happier to be along with the Straw Hat crew members. And I personally, for one, think that would be it better in itself because Jinbei would really be a powerful asset to the Straw Hat crew members. And also, Luffy will have a fishman in his main crew. Can you imagine that? A fishman with fishman karate? Holy snap. Freaking the Straw Hats will become an invincible fighting force. Well, slowly now. Now that we're getting to see a lot more and more along these chapters, that we're going to get to see more of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet becoming a central war figure in the world government, or against the world government, we could say. But not trying to stay off the topic. Of course, back again in the story, later on in the chapter, we see then that Jinbei is actually talking to Big Mom, trying to leave, the Big Mom family. But Big Mom says no, that's not the case. She doesn't really care, as a matter of fact, as to why Jinbei is leaving. That's kind of respect right there in itself, because the fact that she's not really questioning why he's leaving. She just more along the case cares more as to say, since you're leaving, you're gonna be hurting my I would say she's kind of, because he's basically challenging Big Mom's authority. So he needs to give us in exchange in order for her to feel satisfied. And basically that they have to do is they have to play like I would say, like a roulette game or something along like that, where they basically have to like bet their lives or something along like that, because of the fact that we're not too sure what will happen if in the roulette itself, because they were just kind of hinting that like either Jimmy would lose an arm, leg, his head, maybe his lifespan based upon Big Mom's powers. Also, you better yet, the fact that Jinbei could probably also, you could say, follow Big Mom in itself, because the fact that there was a Big Mom skull figure in there in itself, so we don't know if that skull figure was supposed to represent Big Mom's choice, as to say, or it could be literally mean death itself. We're not too sure yet. Like I said, this chapter was getting very interesting because the fact that Jinbei is actually trying to leave Big Mom and challenging her authority, but Big Mom is kind of like stepping in the way and saying that no, not yet, Jinbei. Offer up something, and I personally, am kind of interested to see what might happen in the later chapters. Now, when we get to, I would say, the more focus along the lines of the entire chapter, we actually get to see more of Peckham's, Brook, and Luffy's crew traveling along, Whole Cake Island. They actually make it at the end of the chapter to Whole Cake Island, but we get to witness more of not Peckham's past, Pedro's past, actually. Yes, folks, this chapter also kind of explained, I wouldn't say gave vivid details, but they kind of, I would say, gave a little bit more explanation as to what Pedro was acting in the past. And he himself, yes, folks, Pedro was a pirate. And I like the fact that this chapter was actually going along the line saying that it's kind of hinting at the fact that Pedro might become also a Straw Hat member. Because remember, every time that someone in the One Piece universe is given a bounty, and someone becoming a central figure in the One Piece universe, or to the One Piece cast, the central cast, I should say, they become probably either part of the Nakama, or they become part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, or something along the line of that. Because remember, folks, or a villain too in itself. Like I said, it could be something very entirely different. But I personally am really hoping that Pedro really does become part of Luffy's crew, because of the fact that he has very necessary skills in order to join Luffy's crew, and that is, he is very well aware of Big Mom's territory. He is aware of the new world itself. And I personally would love the fact that Pedro would join Luffy's crew. And also, let's not forget that he to me looks like a scouter. If he was to join Luffy's crew, he would personally be like a lookout scouter. He would actually traverse on islands beforehand, look around to see what's going on. He could hide his presence. I personally would love to see Pedro and it joining Straw Hat Luffy's crew, and also the fact that he is not someone to take lightly as well. Since what we've seen so far, he's actually a very formidable fighter. Nothing really scares Pedro himself. He is calm, cool, and collective. I personally would love him and Jinbei also as well to be more focused on with Luffy's crew. See, like I said before, Luffy's crew now is getting major characters development. They're getting so many new members, and I also love the fact that this chapter has to focus on the fact that they're gonna get the road poneglyphs, and that's what I like. The fact that they're still not digressing too far from the poneglyph saga that we're getting into right now, and that's the fact that because the fact that Pedro was actually mentioning to Luffy that you should steal some of the poneglyphs from Big Mom, and Luffy was just like kind of like that, just kind of diluting it from the fact that he doesn't really care about that, but because of the fact that he's kind of more focused on Sanji. But remember, folks, Pedro, we get to see now his main goal now is to actually steal Big Mom's let's say the map of the poneglyphs to Raftel, or whichever last island that's going to happen, or the treasure that's going to be awaiting. And that's what I personally would like to see, is the fact that that's why I would think that Pedro would be beneficial to join Luffy's crew. And like I said, he's taken a very leadership position himself when he was telling Luffy that I'll take full responsibility, Luffy. You can depend on me. And Luffy was like, okay, you focus on saving Sanji, and I'll gather the information that you see. Like I said, he's kind of like basically a ninja for Luffy, and I personally would love for him to join Luffy's crew. And if that were to happen to the case, that would be very beneficial for later on in other chapters when they're facing up against Kaido, because the fact that they need also another poneglyph, and that's what they basically need is a thief, like someone that could really walk in there, take items and grab and go, and that's it without them other people noticing. Because remember, Pedro can hide his presence. Even Luffy couldn't really tell where he was at, and that's they kind of hinted and foreshadowed the fact that Pedro could be also now leading on to the Straw Hat crew members. And that's what I said. Like I said, this chapter is purely amazing in itself. And yes, folks, at the end of the chapter, Luffy has finally made it to Whole Cake Island. And I'm not going to try to digress too much of the fact that it's the fact that when we're actually getting inside Whole Cake Island, Luffy spots someone at the end of the chapter, and we don't know who is to say who that be. I personally might think that it might be Pudding, Sanji, or Peckham's. One of those three. One of those three folks. The reason I say that it's Sanji, because maybe he's just taking a smoke break, and he just didn't barely notice that, oh snap, Luffy's finally here. Or maybe the fact that it could be Peckham's too, on the lookout to see if that maybe he's part of following the trap or the guidelines that Pudding has left, because the fact that that place is very unsupervised, and maybe Peckham's is there in order for them to kind of oversee the fact that there really would be nobody left there, so that way the Straw Hat crew members can actually get inside the island. And last but not least, it could be Pudding as well at the same time, at the same fact, because of the same reason for Peckham's, in order for the trap they're trying to conspire, or maybe really helping Luffy out. Like I said, like this chapter is leading on to so many new things. And I also want to mention in this episode the fact that shout out to Chibi Reviews for his wonderful insight that I just barely saw like 30 minutes ago. And that was one of the last panels. Yes, Chibi Reviews. He saw something that I completely missed. But once I saw it, then I went back and looked back, and I was like, wait, what? Hold on the fact. And there was a panel that looked like someone else was on the cruise ship. When I saw that, and I was speculating my own theories, and when Chibi was speculating his own theories, and when I saw that, it could be Pudding. It really can be Pudding. I personally would think that it would be Pudding, and she's probably a stowaway, because of the fact that she wants to maybe help the crew members, or maybe it's some other person that they brought off camera that they're gonna like kind of witness and go back in the next chapter and kind of retrace their steps and say, oh, she came because the fact that of something to help them gather something, or something along the line of that. I'm kind of only speculating because of the fact that they really that little tiny picture frame didn't really say too much, but it kind of showed like that who really is that person, or it could be Nami itself. like Chibi has said, it really can be Nami. I'm not too sure myself either, but there's a lot going on in this chapter because of that. But yes, folks, that's it for chapter 830. Let me know what you guys think about this chapter. I personally love this chapter. You know, love the awesome foreshadowing that they're doing in this whole entire chapter, and also the fact that I love the fact that since if Jinbei is gonna lose an arm, that also says the fact that he really is gonna join the Straw Hat crew members is because of the fact that since we see Jinbei, he's a really powerful character. And by him losing a limb or losing arm, leg, doesn't really matter what it is, it would kind of downplay him so that way he can really join the Straw Hat members, so that way he won't be one of the strongest characters in the main Straw Hat cast. Because look at the fact that Oda wants to kind of keep this the same formula: Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy. If Jinbei joins in, he'll be way too strong, and he would kind of like he would basically demolish that chain of command that Oda has probably, like I would say, created in that in essence. So maybe that's why by losing an arm, his fishing karate would be like probably brought down by half, and that's what I would think that Jinbei would then probably be part of the second strongest trio in part of the Luffy's crew. And maybe that's what Oda's trying to create, so that way it would balance itself out, and that's how he would be able to join Luffy's crew. So he won't be too strong. He'll be strong in a sense, but he won't be too strong. And that's what I personally am thinking about. Why all this is kind of transpiring throughout this whole entire chapter. But yes, folks, like I'm sorry for digressing. It's just that there's really a lot to talk about, but I have to keep this video short. But yes, folks, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about this chapter. Like I said, I enjoyed this chapter very much. What do you guys think about that last channel before? And by the way, Chibi, wonderful reviews. Love your channel. Hope you get to see my channel soon enough. But like I said, folks, what do you guys think about that last little panel in the last page? If you guys think that's Nami, or if that's someone else? Also, what do you guys think of Pedro's role now in the whole entire arc now? Because I'm personally loving Pedro, and I, for one, would love him to join. But yes, folks, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of this chapter. And as always, folks, have a wonderful day. This is Mr. Zen, signing out.